Temple University, they offer now.
Which is your alma mater.
Yes. And Anthony Dorenzo's a big Temple guy, even though he never really went there.
To Westchester.
Yeah, he went to Westchester, but he claims Temple for some reason. He'll probably be the president of Temple one day, in addition to the CEO of Odyssey and the mayor of Philadelphia all simultaneously. We'll start calling him the mayor from now on. It'd be a great nickname for Dorenzo, by the way. So Temple University is offering a porn studies course. They're calling it the Other Sex Ed. Yes. Temple University students are eager to discuss porn. Professor Jennifer Pollitt, the assistant director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at the Philadelphia Institution, said the student cap for her new porn studies course shot up from 25 to 40, with many more on the waiting list for the popular class. So apparently at Temple, they're lined up too, like they're at the southern border, but they're just trying to get into the porn studies course. The course, called Social Perspectives and Digital Pornography, the Other Sex Ed, seeks to allow students to discuss sexuality, intimacy, power dynamics, and the impact of the porn industry in an academic space. She said, quote, "I hope my students leave recognizing how valuable it is to research and to study pornography across all disciplines and to figure out what we can learn." She goes on to talk about how we've talked about how porn focuses on different minority groups. See, it always comes back to this nonsense, doesn't it? Whether that's racialized porn, disability porn, gay porn, trans porn, and how porn can build narratives around these identities. So
what is disability porn?
I have no idea. Wheelchair porn? I have no idea. Is that a thing? I haven't gone onto those sites in a long
disability?
time.
Is that where she doesn't have teeth or legs?
I guess, yeah.
Oh my God!
This is just remarkable. Under this, this umbrella of, gender identity and diversity, equity, and inclusion, because now porn can be racist as well, apparently. But this is why I bring this story up. I have no problem with this because these are 18 to 22-year-olds. Technically, they are adults, even though when you're in college, let's be real, you're still a kid. I mean, at 39, I still feel like I'm a kid most days. But 18 to 22-year-olds, so they're adults, no problem with that. And you're paying for this, right? Like, I'm not paying your tuition unless you apply for the bailout program with Joe Biden. Then of course, everybody else is going to pay for your nonsense. But my concern with this and my fear is that this is just the beginning. They're starting this in the college ranks, and it's only going to take one study and one radical left-wing pervert to say, 14 to 16-year-olds are consuming pornography like never before. We need to have this class now at the high school level or the junior high school level, to which I would adamantly object to that. You want to do this in college? Okay, you're an adult, knock yourself out. But don't make no mistake about it. This will trickle and wither its way down to the grade school and the high school and the middle school and the junior high school levels.
Kindergarten, all of a sudden we're going, Mommy, we just learned about porn today. What?
We're sitting here saying that 4-year-olds can tell you what gender they are. Is there any doubt that this could be taught to a 13-year-old?
Well, to your point, starting this week in Utah, they created a new law that you have to have proof of age, that prove that you're 18 or over to watch porn in Utah. For those adult-only websites, they have to comply. That's a new Utah law.
Yeah.
Utah law.
Right.
I feel bad for those young kids in Utah. They're gonna have to go back to.
I'm not surprised too. Utah, big Mormon community, right?
They're gonna have to go back to the old school, Nick, like when we were growing up.
The old scrambled hot box.
Scrambled porn,
right?
Was I think I see a boob.
Mom comes in the living room. What are you watching on channel 99? What is that? Why do I see static? Nothing, Mom. It's just the Phillies.
Or find it in the woods,
Jesus.
And measures have also been introduced in Arizona and South Carolina. Arkansas passed a similar age verification law for adult websites.
Yep.
And that one, I think, already took effect. No, it takes effect this summer, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But these Pornhub-type sites are fighting it in court because, of course, to your point, they know that teenagers want to look at this stuff.
Of course.
The only thing I'll say about Temple's class is that if they look at it from the aspect of, does porn and these kind of websites, do they create false expectations? Because I think they do.
I've never really did a deep dive on that, to be honest.
Because think about it,
Yeah.
and especially then to your point of teenagers looking at that. So let's say a teenage person is looking at such website, and they are looking at the individuals in there. And first of all, everything is bare, right? They're either lasered or waxed or shaved, whatever you want to say. And then on top of it, what they're doing is nothing is realistic. But then you have people looking at it, they think, oh, that's really what should be happening.
I'm just waiting for the day when my daughters are in school and I get their curriculum and I find that this this is now a 10th grade elective that you can take in public school, because I feel more confident that this is going to happen in our schools for kids before they get out of high school than I do the Sixers winning on Sunday. Take that to you want to guarantee, you watch, in a matter of a year or two this will pop up. And it's just, and parents are going to lose their mind, which brings us back to like school choice, right?
Yep, exactly.
Totally
And
see it coming.
That's the battleground, especially moving forward. And coming up in the big three, I'll talk about a local school and the parents, even in the way it's being reported over a bathroom policy that passed this week. And we've mentioned it, but it's now in effect. Mm-hmm. And so, you think about parents doing what even 5 years ago would have been a no-brainer.
Yep.
And now just parents and parental rights under fire and children's innocence. I mean, you're a dad of these twin little girls at this age, prepubescent. And this is, I feel bad. I feel badly for you, Nick Kayal.
I've already told them no sex until you're 30. You get married once I'm dead.
Well, that's, you have to think about dating.
Yep.
And how you're going to, like, I couldn't date until I was 16, and then the guy had to come to our house.
Did your parents vet him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I do look forward to that day when my daughters are like, sweet 16 and they have their first like legitimate boyfriend and he comes over for the first time. I'm going to be like, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in Bad Boys, where they show up to the door and that kid came to pick up Martin's daughter and they have their handguns and they're holding a bottle of booze and they're like, "You on those drugs?"
Get the baseball bat.
Curfew's 11 o'clock sharp.
The hunting rifle.
You have her back here at 10:59 or I'm coming to get you. Yep.
I hate to tell you guys, but I was sleeping over my girlfriend's house. My parents obviously didn't know when I was 15.
Where were your parents?
They thought I was staying at my friend's house.
Yeah.
Well, see, now, here we go.
The stalker sleepover.
Well, now we have these little things called, first of all, little air tags that you can sew into their coats.
Yeah,
you have their iPhone, their earbuds.
Yeah.
There are all these little tracking devices we have.
Greg just had like an old cassette player under his bed, and he'd have like a snoring track.
I got
it, and then he went out the window.
I actually got caught. My parents, were wise to me, and in the middle of the night, they came to my girlfriend's house to get me, and I had to do this was a different walk of shame. I did the walk of shame with it.
You get in the back of that minivan right now, Greg.
Oh, it was so humiliating.
And I don't want to hear people on the ride home.
I was,
and you were 15. Greg Stocker, the ladies' man.
Well, it was a different time.
Yeah.
He's got the flowing blonde hair.
The 90s were a different time.
He wasn't always a brand manager.
No, I'm just saying. So
Heartthrob.
To think that Nick, Dawn, that they're going to be starting at 18, 19 is it's a fool's errand.
But it shouldn't be in school, like Nick is saying.
Agreed.
It shouldn't be in your high school, and depending on the college course, because that could be an interesting class. But I think they've got to bring up the expectations and all of that. Because
what
that's
high
a piece
school,
of it.
Greg? What high school did you go to?
Pius X High School.
Okay, so it's no longer in operation, right?
It's not. No.
So Pius X.
I shut it down.
Wait, was this a Catholic school or?
It was.
Where are they now? And he sit there and do one of those "Where are they nows" of like the old people from like celebrity shows in the 80s and 90s. And these teachers come up to it and they look and they see, oh, Greg Stocker is a brand manager of one of the most well-noticed and recognizable conservative talk stations in the country. Yeah, we didn't have that one coming. Put that down on the bingo card.
I like to call it a free speech station.
That's correct.
Free speech. Oh, I like that.
There you
free
go.
Speech station. But I have
It's
to
more
warn
inclusive,
you. I have to warn you. the Sweet 16 parties for girls nowadays, my son is invited to a classmate's. It's like at a place where my stepdaughter got married. It was like a wedding. These Sweet 16 parties post-pandemic are, oh my goodness.
So they're expensive.
Oh, yes.
That's great.
And it's a huge, big deal. And you have twin daughters.
Yeah.
So we have to look ahead to a sponsor.
Yeah. Is there any bingo halls with vacancies?
With the Joseph Ambler Inn sponsored Nick Kayal. You know, we got a few years to work on this.
God.
Ipso facto on YouTube, Dawn wants to know, did your dad put the gun on the table while vetting them?
His rifle was in the corner behind his lazy boy. I'm just saying.
Somebody else says it's too long of a handle to read. Greg was wearing Janko clothing while leaving his girlfriend's house. It probably was. It was 90. What would that have been? I was 15. I was probably 95, 96.
Yeah.
Oh my God.